Yes, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, tankers of Blitz to the channel. A little random tank talk today. As we're going to talk about what is going to happen to the game in update 7.0. There are going to be little updates to the graphics. We're going to have vehicle trails, there are going to be dynamic shadows and hit marks, and we'll have gun recoil effects, etc, etc. And these are, as Wargaming state, quite significant graphical improvements. And they aren't game-changing. Maybe the vehicle trails might be just a little bit game-changing because you can see where a tank has driven, and they do disappear after a little bit of time. But I think it will be just very little. But it does look kind of good because you already had those little blurbs of dust behind your tank, and you had the exhaust out of the back, the fumes coming out of the back. But if you now then have a little bit of a trail behind your tank, then you can just see exactly where you've driven up a hill and when you then stop, and then you can see how long you've been camping there, because after a few seconds the vehicle trails will disappear. So that's very, very useful information. But yes, all kidding aside, it's just for looks, for cosmetics. Same as for the gun recoil effect. It's not very apparent if you're shooting your tank from the sniper mode. But from sniper mode it's not effective at all. It's not really effective when you're in a tank and you're just looking at it in arcade mode. But if you have an open-topped tank like the Gorilla 15, that's what's going to look really good. Like the Borsig, the Waffle Tractor, those tanks you're going to see it very clearly. Object 263 as well, but Object 268 maybe not so much. If you have a long gun barrel, it's going to look quite good. And of course, if you are getting shot by an enemy, then you can see his gun recoil backwards, and then you'll explode. That's all gonna add to your gaming experience. And Wargaming have told us about this on the live stream. I'm going to leave a link in the top right corner of the screen so you can watch the live stream yourself. This is all graphical. It will not change the gameplay, but some of these were in high demand among players, and some, as they stated, will simply make the environment a bit more beautiful. Hearts all around, hearts all around. They will improve the immersion in the battle atmosphere. Yeah. Of course. Anyways, you can switch them on and off, which is going to be good. We will take a look at the gun recoil effect. It will be available for all tanks, vehicles from tier 1 up to tier 10, except for about 5% of vehicles that have certain model features which cause improper display of the rollback. I don't know which tanks that will be, or at least what the 5% will be. Some tanks just won't get it. I think like maybe the Leopard, you know, the tier 5 Leopard that has such a small gun, it would be hardly noticeable. I think they probably won't add it to tanks like that. Then we're going to have the hit marks. If you're going to shoot a tank, you can see where you've hit it, because there will be a mark. And there will be 4 marks available. Small calibers 20 to 30 mils, medium calibers 37 and 57 mils, main calibers from 75 mils to 107, which may seem like a strange caliber, but okay. And they have the large ones, which they state as being 102 to 203, so there might be a bit of a typo. I think it will be 75 up to 102, and then 102 up to 203. And the type of damage depends on the type of shell used. Separate marks for armor piercing, APCR, heat shells, high explosive shells, including hash. And that means that if you get hit and you're wondering, why do I get hit all the time, then you can go into the replay, check out where somebody shot you, and if it was a heat shell, APCR, AP, etc. Really good. Marks for non-penetration and ricochets are going to be there as well, but that appearance does not depend on the shell type. And in arcade modes it will start to disappear at 100 meters and completely invisible at 105 plus meters. And if you're in sniper mode, visible up to 400 and 420 meters. And that was set as a limit to avoid excessive load on hardware. Why is it helpful? As said, abilities to understand why no damage was caused or why you were hit. As for the vehicle trails, if you're driving, it really doesn't affect the gameplay at all, but it gives you a considerable weight in all the senses that visually contributes to the immersion in the battle atmosphere and improves the realism of the battlefields. You're not just bodiless entities, but you're heavy steel vehicles that leave a noticeable impression when moving. But just changed. About 10 seconds. And you can see in that live stream how it looks like. It will change, the tracks, they will disappear. What's next then? Dynamic shadows, you can switch things on and off. Makes the game look a bit better. You have visual improvements like soft particles, explosions, they look a bit smoother, less hard edge, you have soft water boundaries. It's going to look all really good. And you can drive through walls, which you could already do, but now if you drive forward, these walls, they fall forward. They don't just blow up into the sky. No, like bricks just going poof. They will now go like puff. Or like that, you know, they don't go poof into the air, they go puff, they just topple over. And to be honest, sorry Wargaming, to be honest, I wasn't able to watch it on the screen and to really see the difference. And I think I'll just make a video out of that. Let me know, I'll leave a link in the top right corner of the screen. Should I make a video on the difference between knocking down walls in 6.10, what is it, 6.10? And 7.0. Just let me know. I'll leave a poll right up there. Yes and no. I'll do a training room. I'll knock down all the walls I can find on a certain map, and then I'll do a training room on 7.0 is there as well, and then we will discuss whether the difference is visible or not. Top right corner of the screen, there's a little link. Just a little poll. Just vote yes or no. This was a little game I did, which I had actually recorded for the Leopard 1 video, but then there was no Leopard 1 video of mine in that video because there were other videos in that video, other games. Well, this was a good one, and I decided to add it to this video because, well, I started lying about. Well, Martin, please tell us then, why are you adding a combat video? Why are you adding this lovely filth? Well, let me clarify. We're going to get British light tanks in update 7.0, exclusive to Blitz, as they say. British light tanks are exclusive for World of Tanks Blitz, not presented in WOT PC. Well, obviously there are British light tanks in WOT PC with their naval battleship guns and low ammo capacity, but these 3 tanks, they will be in World of Tanks Blitz only. They will not be on PC, and they will probably not be on console either. Well, then why are you showing the Comet? Well, it's got to branch off from the Comet. You have to get 100k XP to get the tier 8 tank, which is going to be named the FE301. You have to get 170k to get the tier 9 tank, which is going to be the biggest cruiser. I'm not sure what the requirements will be for the modules, but 100k to unlock a tier 8 tank, 170 for a tier 9, and 275k XP to unlock the tier 10. And as said, modules are not included. I don't have any info on that yet, but that gives you an idea of what you should save for free XP. So 100 to 70, that would make it 525 thereabouts in total for just the tanks. I would say you have to get 700 to 750k XP to unlock all these tanks. And please, Wargaming, namaste, I greet you, I salute you. Can you please include the guns from the regular Tech 3 tanks already, like from the British medium tanks and maybe from the Charioteer and such, because then we have already unlocked the guns. Thank you, thank you. I'll be a good cookie. I'll be a good cookie, no problem whatsoever. Please do that. Yes, please do that. Please do that. Thank you. Thank you. I hope it works. Right. What's the main feature of these tanks? Well, they have the best view range among other tanks of their level. Base 260, 270, 280 for tier 8, 9 and 10. They don't have an autoloader. They don't have missiles, no ATGMs. They don't have hash shells, except for the big ones. They have the regular British hash shells, 105 baseband. That is quite good. But they have a good rate of fire. The tier 8 tank is quite dynamic, as they say. Good penetration, rate of fire, gun depression, but low damage per shot. Well, we have a Comet here. We're used to low damage per shot. That is in keeping with the Centurion. Low damage per shot, good rate of fire. Together with the RU, it has the best view range, 260 meters as said. Gun-mounted can sometimes bounce shots, and acceleration is quite fast, but you have a low top speed compared to the RU-251 and the T-49 and the AMX 3090, etc. What are the pros and cons then of the biggest cruiser, the tier 9 tank? Well, best view range at tier 9, 270 meters base. Gun mantlet can bounce shots sometimes, so in that regard it it pretty much is like the Leopard. And you've seen my Leopard gameplay just now, before this game. And it did bounce a shot from the Type 61, but it didn't bounce any of the other shots. So this type of gameplay will be Leopard-like, will be soft target tank-like, you know? It has average mobility, the biggest cruiser tier 9 tank, compared to the other light tanks, but it has high damage per shot, 350, and it has -10 gun depression, best penetration, aiming time, and precision among other tier 9 light tanks. So that will be a bit of a Schneiberschnitzel, even if it's a British one. It will be a tank that you will want to use at range to a certain degree, spot for your team, relocate, and then use the gun to full effect, because hey, you can't really bounce shots, so you're a light tank. People will start loading the hash, loading the HE, etc. They will want to nuke you, derp you, and do all kinds of bad things to you. And that's going to be the same thing that they will want to do to the Vickers Light 105, the tier 10 one. Again, best view range, 280 base, maximum 325. The gun mounted, the gun can sometimes bounce the occasional shot. Top speed, 65 km per hour, slightly lower acceleration than the other light tanks, but again, great precision, aiming time, and depression angle, and the highest rate of fire among the other tier 10 light tanks. There are not a lot of them. There are obviously only 3. It's going to be the Vickers 105. You have the Batchat, and you have the Sheridan. And that's why we now go to a game with the Sheridan in it, because that one is getting slightly nerfed. It's getting balanced. Wargaming have more or less confirmed that they will never, and that's my word, never, that they will never remove the ATGMs. They haven't specifically stated on the English stream, never, but they were pretty clear about it. We're not going to remove the ATGMs. And to be honest, I knew that wasn't going to be the case. I mean, they want to have something special in the game. They want to have a special tank or class or whatever in game. And this tank line, the T92E1 and the Sheridan, as hated as they fill that role. Because it can do this. Boom! There we go. And Wet Sock Fetish is going to have an absolutely filthy, disgusting game in the Sheridan. I'm kidding you not. It's going to be really filthy. This is why these tanks are hated so much. And that's why it's also good, in my opinion, we're getting another tier 10 light tank. The Vickers 105, the Vickers Light 105. That one's going to be an early scout with good view range and then good mobility and for flanking attacks and really good comfortable guns for supported medium and even long ranges. That's what you want to have. You have to be an early spotter, and then you're going to shoot. You're going to have a British gun like kaboom, and 105 of hash on cheap hash, 105 base pen. That's really going to be funky. You will not be able to penetrate the hull of the Sheridan because that's clad in spaced armor. But the turret, no. Will go straight through, And the T92E1 has a flat plate on the back, and you can shoot it up the ass. No problem whatsoever, no questions asked. What are they going to do then to this one, to the Sheridan? Well, they're going to decrease the engine power from 650 to 485 HP horsepower. That's going to be massive. Like, really massive. They think, and I concur, the Sheridan is too fast and too nimble, too maneuverable, and because of the high damage per shot and the ATGM, this gun platform was just too flexible. It was just too flexible. And they're not going to remove the missiles. They are reducing the range. Now you can shoot targets up to 300 meters, which is good. It means you can't just sit at the real back of the map and then hit targets on the other end of the map, because you have a range of 300 meters. That's less than it is now. We decided to work on the missiles, Wargaming State. Now there will be less unpredictable shots. And they have decreased the maneuverability of the missiles. And that means probably that the missiles will have to make a bit of a wider turn. They can't just like really hop over a rock anymore in 7.0. they have decreased it to have less steep shots. And a move like this, that Wet Sock Fetish is doing, this maneuverability, that's going to be gone. I mean, you can see he got shot twice by that T57 Heavy. But you can't really do a move like that, or sitting on the ridge and then just accelerating while you're sitting on a backward slope. You will not be able to do this. This kill on the T54E1, that's not why Sheridan is hated. That's just a regular APCR run through the side. But there's got to be a few more shots this one, see, this one. Kaboom! In the face, 525. This is why this tank is hated so much. And that's why I decided to include this little video in this random tank talk. The back chat is getting buffed. Dispersion on the move, turret reverse decrease from 0.12 to 0.1, and it gets an increase in the engine power. Little buffs, just small ones but significant ones. It gets a little bit quicker, the back chat. It will be a bit better to have a, drive-by shooter, boom, 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 3 shots on the move. You will have more chances of hitting those 3 shots. And that means, and Wargaming has stated this in a document that they have provided to all the contributors with non-disclosure agreement stuff, and we are allowed to talk about this. What they want to do is create 3 distinct classes of light tanks. They want to have a fast submachine gun, as they call it, a fast hit and run gun, like you come over there and then boom, 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 930 on average, 3 shots into a tank and move away. They want to have the Sheridan. They want to have, like, you are fast, you're fast, you're lock, and then yes, aim, and yes, thank you, boom. Yeah. But it's a rocket, so it's not as quick as I was thinking. But it still has missiles. They will not be removed. Mark my words, they will never be removed. As much as people might complain about it, they will never be removed. They might be readjusted again, but they will never be removed. My words, but I'd mark them. And then you have the Vickers Light 105, a fast sniper. Early spot, good gun depression, gun method, sometimes bounces shots, but then you can use your precise, comfortable guns for some lovely filth, best penetration, aiming time, etc., and highest rate of fire. But yeah, we still obviously have the Sheridan. Are you ready for it? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Boom! Filthy! Filthy! So yeah, a little bit of random tank talk about update 7.01. I'm looking forward to it. Driving the Vickers light tanks and the FV301. I'll start building up the XP on the Comet. And there you have it, video for today, ladies and gentlemen, tankers of this universe. I'll catch you all tomorrow again. Cheers and happy tanking.